that I worked for other large IT companies. So I've typically worked with large IT companies, right? So the reason why Xavient was interesting and exciting was, one is they have got really top of the line customers. So for example, they work with 7 of the top 10 telcos in US. They work with a few of the largest retailers in the world. They work with few of the largest manufacturing companies in the world. So that is what was interesting or exciting for me. And it's an entrepreneurial environment, so that way it works well. You are free to implement your ideas, build your own teams, do new things. So that is the interesting parts. I've enjoyed so far. It's been good fun. I'm in India on a visit, and basically we had one of our customers visiting us. So I'd come. So the development center, delivery center for Xavient is based out of the NCR region. We have multiple centers here, and we have around close to 2,000 plus people based in this region. And that has been the primary focus. And the India market is of interest, so there is some work we are doing with a few Indian customers. But that is what is the primary focus for Xavient in India. So our major delivery development center is based in India. Okay. We have another center in Sri Lanka.
Okay. So where is it in India?
Here, NCR, Noida.
Noida. Okay. So how many people are working?
So we have around 2,000 odd people.
2,000 working for
Xavient, yes.
In India?
In India.
Okay.
So it is a typical IT services kind of a business where of our total strength around 30% is based in US, working on client location, and 2,000 odd people are based here.
Is it in a US company?
So it is a US and Indian company. So we have a company registered in India, which is Xavient India, and we have Xavient US, which really interfaces with the customers there. So it is both. Rajiv Tandon, he is the CEO and chairman of the company. So they are the promoters, and our COO here, Saif Ahmed, who manages the India operations. He is so they are the two promoters or entrepreneurs who started this company in 2002. Interesting time for the Indian IT services market, because Indian IT services market has been growing at least last 5 years significantly, mainly because of investments by the government on the infrastructure building. So all the large investments in IT which have happened in India have either been driven by the government or they have been driven by large corporates, mainly banking, financial services, retail, or they have been driven by large corporates from outside trying to come and set up their base in India. So all these three have made the Indian market very interesting. Lot of growth, lot of new energy, lot of new potential. And that's what's happening in the IT services market. On the other side, of the IT services companies catering to this market, see the way the market has behaved for most of the companies like TCS, Infosys, Wipro, the bigger IT services companies, is that large part of their customer base is still outside India.
Right.
So Europe, US. So a large part of the talent pool is also more towards that, because those customers are more profitable. So getting access to the right talent for the Indian IT services market has been a challenge for not only these companies but all companies. Because whenever you hire somebody fresh from college, put them on an IT project, everybody wants to work with a global company. So that has been the one challenge of getting the right talent to work on the right level with Indian customers. And second has been that the technology which has been driving the Indian IT services market is primarily cutting edge, which is the good part, because there has been no legacy systems in most of these areas. Like for example, e-governance, there is nothing existing, so it's all ground up development. So they have gone for really high, the latest technology. So all the requirements of the US European markets, which has been started largely around legacy systems, mainframes, that doesn't exist in India. So the requirement is for new technologies and cutting edge technologies, mobile development, mobility applications. So that is the benefit of the Indian market. So growth is there, it is a huge market, it is growing very fast, it will continue to grow as the government continues to invest in multiple IT initiatives. But the challenge has been to identify the right resourcing mix for the Indian market. So if you see, the competition in India is primarily on 2-3 levels, right? One is the large Indian IT companies. You have TCS, the Wipro, the HCL. The Indian market has primarily been very system integration driven. What I mean by that is, so in the US European market, we are pure IT services company. That's all we do, right? We do IT services or we do BPO. In India, when you go in for a large project, you have to do everything, starting from hardware, software. So you need to build capabilities to manage the entire system integration and integrate that as a solution for the customer. So not all Indian IT services companies who have been servicing the US market have that capability. So that is one part of it. And so competition is there among these larger Indian IT companies. The second competition is coming because of the size of the Indian projects. All the global majors are here. So IBM's, Accenture's, KPMG, all of them are also competing. So that is the second aspect of the third aspect is small IT companies who really want to start their base in India and then grow outside. So that is where the third arm of competition is coming from. So those are the areas where competition is for India. However, where we tend to benefit is, since we have worked with the largest global Fortune 500 companies, we have the expertise of running fairly large IT system or IT projects. And we have the best practices which we have learned from them. So we are a small company who has the capability to deliver large projects in the given chosen verticals we are at. Because we are not in all verticals, we have chosen to be in only 4 verticals. So our main vertical has been telecom and cable, and then retail, manufacturing, and banking and financial services. So those are our 4 verticals we have chosen. So we don't do work, let's say, in healthcare or in pharma or in host of other verticals which are there. So in these verticals, we have really done very large projects with large customers. So those best practices we can use for the Indian market. See, telecom, in terms of a technology landscape, I think telecom technology is almost at par with where it is globally in, let's say, the US market. Where the market has evolved much beyond in the other countries and where India needs a catch up is on the mobility side. So for example, in a lot of the large retail enterprises in US, a lot of the applications which they have running in stores, in a large store for example, the application which the store manager uses, right? Now, those are all mobile enabled globally. So all enterprise applications are moving them to a mobility platform, any of the mobile devices. That is something where India is still to catch up. So that will happen over the next few years as mobiles become more and more ubiquitous. Banking, for example, the level of mobile banking expertise which is there available in US, that is still not caught up. So in a sense, that is telecom as well as the mobility part. But in terms of pure telecom technology, I think India is at par in terms of where it is. Driving revenues out of that in terms of telecom as e-commerce vehicle, telecom using mobile devices for actually transacting, that is very, very low in India as a percentage of what happens outside India. So that is where the catch-up needs to be. To this, right? So one aspect is that telecom as its basic infrastructure. So if telecom as the basic infrastructure can be used to drive your other industries, right? Which could be retail, banking, manufacturing, that clearly has not happened in India. From a consumer access level, I think that has been the success of Indian telecom really. Because unfortunately, when this telecom revolution started in India, India had a very poor basic telecom infrastructure, right? So unlike the other countries or the developed Western countries where there was already a very robust existing telecom infrastructure, we had very little infrastructure. So where it worked for us is we actually went straight away to the best in the world. And the catch up which India has done, let's say in the last 5 years, it is like the telecom infrastructure now is almost as good as anywhere in the world. Because we started from scratch, we had nothing, we had no legacy. Whereas other countries, they had to first deal with the legacy and then build another infrastructure. So that has been the success of this telecom revolution in India, of accessibility. But whether it has translated to growth in other industries, I think that is still a long way to go. So the success is mixed,
Right.
as far as the government policies go. So in one case, yes, it has been very successful in providing universal access.
Right, right.
But at the second side, it has not helped grow the other industries or drive the mobile revolution like it has done in other countries, where it has actually driven commerce or driven other businesses, other industries. That one is the technology challenge itself, right? Building applications which are more suitable to the Indian market itself. Because what works in the US retail may not be something which is ideally applicable to India, right? Localized applications, localized even language specific applications which can be used very easily, very intuitively. Because the challenge in India is still a large part of the business in India is SMEs and even unorganized sector. So how do you get those people the benefit of the mobile revolution on the business side? And that is what is the challenge the IT companies have, or the technology companies have, that what kind of applications, what kind of solutions can you build which can include these people to take the benefit of that. Different levels of partnerships, right? So one is your software product partners, all the large software product vendors. Second is the partners like Microsoft, who are your core technology or core platform partners. And then third is your partners whom you partner with for specific solutions depending on whichever customer we are going after. So all these 3 or 4 types of partnerships are what we work, not only in India, but these are all global partners. The advantage we have now is that we don't need to build specific partners for India. Right. Because most of the global large partners whom we have are already present in India with significant focus in India. And a lot of them have got, like a lot of the ERP companies, for example, are having very specific products for India. Are having products which are targeted at the SMB market. So if you have a global partnership, it works very well. Very well. So that is where we are. Market in India is on two levels. One is, of course, we want to work with our global customers, and a lot of them are in India. So that is one clear path to this. The other thing is the solutions which we have created. For example, we have a solution, a product which we are already implemented in our company, which is kind of a Facebook for the enterprise. Okay. So it is more a collaboration tool. So what it does is it helps teams collaborate across multiple locations, and it is secure. It is only in your environment. So tools like that which we have built, those are very ideal for an SMB market. So very easy to deploy, very small life cycles, and very cost effective. So once you develop a tool like that, it can scale up to a large enterprise as well as be used very quickly for a small enterprise. Mobility applications which we have built, those can very easily be translated to a small and medium enterprise. So that is where we are. That is our go-to market of using our expertise which we have gained with our working with larger enterprise. Take that to market here with the smaller enterprise.
Small enterprise, SMBs.
That's right. And a business development process is there. There is a business development team which goes out to the market, talks to people. There is a marketing initiative which supports that. So all of that really helps us get access to that market. Bottlenecks are 2-3 main bottlenecks. One is the promise of the cloud. Everybody said that the cloud is going to change everything, the way it is being done. So first part is the ASP model, from which the cloud is now evolved, has already been in existence for the last 10-12 years. So a lot of the even leading software vendors 10 years ago were offering their products on an ASP model. The cloud has really evolved from there on and become where it is today. So at an enterprise level, the large enterprise, even in US or Europe, have not moved their core infrastructure to the cloud. They are still using only the peripheral part of the cloud. And even the cloud they talk about is only a personalized cloud. It's not the public cloud. So it's an enterprise cloud. So that is the first level of resistance, where they are still running their own data centers, they're still running their own applications, they're still owning them in-house and not moving those to the cloud because they are too core to their business.
Right.
So there are very few core applications at global level which have actually moved to the cloud. So it's still on the periphery. So if you ask me which is the most successful cloud company, I would possibly say Salesforce.com, who have actually a core CRM application which runs on the cloud.
Right.
But we have not had too many of those successes globally. So having said that, I think in India again, India has the advantage of not having too much of that legacy,
Right.
like in the other countries. So the adoption of cloud can actually be much faster in India than outside India, like the telecom revolution, right?
Right.
So you can actually see cloud adoption in India, rather than it being a bottleneck, it could be one of the fastest, especially for the SMB sector, right? Because what the cloud provides you is it provides you with access to world-class process, world-class benchmark products on the tap. So I as an SMB company, for example, don't have to create the infrastructure, people, processes. I just subscribe to a cloud application and I'm there with the best process, best application at a much lower cost.
Right.
Even your core IT, right? Your basic operating systems, your basic tools which you use, your Excel, all available on the cloud for a fraction of the cost which they were maybe a year back also. In fact, half of those applications are free today.
Right.
So that has really helped, and that will really help. The main concern of core application and core data moving to the cloud is not happening, because security is still a concern which has not been totally addressed, or there are still doubts. I am not saying it's not been addressed. There are all kinds of standards today, there are all kinds of methods available, but it is still not being convincing answer for most of the people. But I think it is a matter of time, because the value which a cloud based solution offers to a market like India is just IT services company, right? We don't own the cloud infrastructure.
Right.
So we have helped a lot of our customers move or migrate to the cloud. So that is the value proposition which we have. So we can very quickly help, because we understand that space. We understand how the migration works. We understand the processes. We understand the applications. We understand the tools. That's where we come in. So really, one is on the pure consulting side, on how do you help, or what is the benefit you can draw as a company, SMB, large enterprise, small enterprise, by migrating to the cloud. So that's one value which you can definitely. And secondly, actually hand holding them and transferring their applications, their entire business process to the cloud. That is where we come in. If we have done it for global customers, we can definitely do it for Indian customers. We are significantly looking to grow the India operations. One is just in terms of our overall presence. So we have at least 4 or 5 newer facilities which are coming up in the NCR region. We have opened a development center in Sri Lanka. We're trying to leverage that. We will look to open centers in other Indian cities. The challenge which we are facing as we get to expand in India is, in India the talent is still regional specific. So for example, if I am looking for very high-end talent on ERPs, NCR may not be the right region for me to just have a center. I would have to go to either Hyderabad or Bangalore or Chennai.
Okay.
Right? Similarly, if you are looking for very high-end voice-based talent in South India, then you would still need to come to NCR. So that is still a challenge in the Indian market. But so growth expansion over the next year or so, we are looking to at least double or triple our team size in India, and then look at India market as a potential for growth for us. And getting in our solutions which we have already deployed successfully globally in the verticals we are in the Indian market, in the SMB, large enterprise, and with our existing and new customers in India. That's what is going to be our. I don't want to name any customers because we have NDAs with most of them. And the way it works is, especially with a global customer, unless you have a written permission from them to name them.
And what about the SMBs?
So even SMBs, I think we are working with a few of them now. So unless we have written permissions, we would prefer not to name them. But overall, we have over the 50 customers globally.
And in India, they are Located which place?
So we have them in NCR, we have them in Mumbai,
Mumbai.
Maharashtra region. We have some in South India.
Okay. And tell me something about BCS and OSS, which your company is.
Yeah. So OSS BSS, that's how we started, right? So OSS BSS platform solutions is what we started off in telecom in the US. So when our initial customers, so that is what is the core. Today OSS BSS systems have become so mature that the entire service stack around OSS BSS is what we provide. So starting with the entire deployment of tools available, solutions available, support, maintenance, enhancements, rollouts. So the entire stack of OSS BSS is what we manage for fairly large telcos globally. And this is more from a retail perspective. So you have had over the last 4 to 5 years a lot of these large retailers expanding within India. You have had this entire growth of the malls in India. So shopping access across the country. And then you still have a very large unorganized retail sector, right? So, and I'm sure you know more about this, but even the larger retailers today, till today over the last 5 years, have not been profitable. So profitability is an issue because right now everybody is in expansion mode with a view that if we have access and reach, then we will be profitable eventually. So that model has still not been proven in India. And unfortunately, the way the Indian retail market has worked, especially because of the increase in real estate prices, the retail's ROI is very questionable today. So a large store in a large mall, does it really make money? Does it make sense? So that is how retail has evolved in India. In terms of the larger chains, I think they have got possibly access to the best technology, best processes, best tools, software, and they have used global best practices to create their supply chains. So they have the tools, but I think it is a matter of when they can become profitable based on the India pricing models. Because the pricing for the same thing which you are selling in retail in India and outside is going to be different. Because the consumer capacity and capability is very different in India. Whereas the unorganized sector still remains the way it has been operating traditionally.
Right.
So that hasn't changed much. So your entire IT revolution has basically not even touched that sector yet.
Right.
And that is where there is a significant opportunity to streamline. Because for example, if you are a small scale enterprise and I am a small scale enterprise in retail, both of us are doing exactly the same thing. We may have totally different processes.
Right.
We may be doing it totally differently. So that standardization of processes or standardization of the best practices has not happened in that sector at all. And that is where there is an opportunity. And that's where the cloud also comes in. Almost all the top tier products, so SAP, Oracle, we have worked on all those products, Microsoft, the entire suite of products. We have a few products of our own. So currently it's in beta stage, so there's a product called Xavient, which is our version of the enterprise Facebook for enterprise. So that is something which we will be taking to market in the next few months.
Okay, any final words from Xavient you would like to say?
No, so we have had a great growth story over the last 10 years. We have grown almost at an average of 30% year on year. We have built a very strong base in India and we are looking to expand in the next 6 to 8 months to almost double our size. So there is a lot of revenues, there is a lot of business in the market today. The IT market has stabilized. This is the growth phase of the market. And we hope to leverage that and leverage talent in the local region.
And what about the not so good economic conditions?
So